Okay, everyone. Good morning. Welcome. So before we get going, just to do some general housekeeping homework. That's a fantastic NYU shirt. I'm totally jealous, I have to be honest. Fantastic, well done. Does anybody have any questions regarding yesterday's session? I think the first session in particular, given the fact that Chris is going to walk us through the integrative learning component of Midjourney today. But does anybody have anything that they'd like to raise, any questions or subjects before we introduce our next guest? That's easy enough, right? All right. So without further ado, I am very excited. Our next guest really is at the forefront of technology and has been so for years, probably for over a decade at this point, maybe 2 decades. No, almost. I am very excited to introduce everybody to Mr. Garett Sloane. Garett is the Chief Technology Reporter of Ad Age and has been nominated for several awards as a journalist. He's been breaking news for years, and he's done so with everything from the recent branding change from Twitter into X. And if you check out his background right now on LinkedIn, you'll see some amazing reporting that he's done surrounding YouTube. Garett is also the co-host of Marketer's Brief podcast, and he has a video show called Ad Age Remotely. He, this summer, was a featured speaker in Cannes at the Cannes Creativity Festival. So with that, please welcome Garett Sloane.
Say how many decades I've been doing this, but it has been closer to 2 than 1.
2 decades.
2 decades, closer to 2 decades.
Can
Can everyone hear me, or do I use this mic too?
I think the mic will help you.
All right. Everyone can hear me here? Oh, good.
So how long have you been doing it?
I've been a journalist since 2003, 4, probably. So 2 decades.
Where did you learn to become a journalist?
I actually had to travel around the world. I started in Costa Rica as a journalist for an online newspaper. So it was like just starting out online, and news was going in that direction. There was an online newspaper in Central America that I was reporting for and breaking news there, but not covering technology yet. And I got into technology when I started working at the New York Post about 10 years ago. And so I've been covering advertising technology, Meta, which was Facebook at the time, Google, all the tech companies, you know.
So we've been talking about AI, and we'll be talking about AI the entire week. And obviously, for those of you that were here yesterday, you know I have this little obsession with regards to AI and doomsday. So I want to ask you first, just to open up, really, is AI dangerous?
I do like this question. Of course, I've thought about it a lot, and everything runs the gamut from either it's going to destroy us all in the next 6 months, or it's just let's build. And I think everyone's dealing between the people who are build, just say, let AI do its thing. Let's not slow down here, because what if it cures cancer? What if it does something amazing that would make it all worth it? And so those are the optimists. I'm like any good journalist, somewhere in the middle, I would guess. Then I'm like, the things that scare me about it are that it could quickly lead to, in the news industry, quickly lead to things like misinformation. It spins up any sort of news or image or sort of information that could be artificially created that will flood the information landscape and make us question sort of what is real information. It can write books and do anything. It can create fake studies, create fake anything. So that, I think, is the immediate. It could do that right now, and it's going to do that with video soon. Video is not as great as like photos and text in AI. It's not as advanced yet, but once it's doing video, then just imagine it'll take any one of us and make a video, and just that's a scary proposition. I think that information flooding.
So misinformation and disinformation is interesting. Also, we had the New York State Assemblyman Fennell here yesterday. We were talking a little bit about ethics. So I guess my question is, have you seen AI kick off a significant amount of misinformation and or disinformation beyond like a hallucination? And if so, how will we control the ethics and the biases that result as a, as far as getting that misinformation into the news?
How do we that's several questions. It's like, how do you control the bias in the AI to help us generate news? Like, can we go to it and say, hey, AI, give me the news about the presidential race without being biased about it? Which is one thing you definitely want to have. I guess that happens to be with training models, and that goes beyond my pay grade, as I probably told you before, like how you actually train these. But then is there actual misinformation now? Yes, the AI can be used to create websites and is being used to create websites. And then you just flood the websites with fake news. And then those fake news items can be sent to the top of the search engine optimization when you're searching Google. So Google has to be on the lookout for AI generated websites that just share nothing but fake news or misinformation.
So is Google actively looking out for that now?
Everyone on the internet is I think so. I mean, they're working on it. I don't know how good they're going to be at it, but they're definitely working on it. And these are like, who'd you have yesterday?
Assemblyman Fennell.
Vanilla. Got to remember.
Clyde Fennell.
Clyde Vanilla, thank you, High Assemblyman, if you're watching. Senator Schumer's hosting Meta, Google, Microsoft, and maybe another. So it's at the U.S. Senate too, where they're talking about these topics, and that was just announced today. So
do you think Google though knows how to, like, is it even possible to have that kind of far reach and be ahead of misinformation and disinformation like that? AI generated misinformation.
I don't know. I think it's going to take it was going to take a lot of work, but like you said, is it going to be biased? What are they going to say is misinformation? What results will they take out of the search engines? What results will they downrank? So it becomes a tough question. That's why some people say Google censors the internet already. I'm not subscribing to that. I've just heard that as like a complaint from some people, but it's sort of necessary. Like, and I've heard other people talk about it this way, that like once the information landscape is flooded with AI generated news and content, maybe we do have to return back to media gatekeepers that we trust, that we know have vetted this information. Like if I go, they know this image that's circulating online is not, Joe Biden doing something, or not like a real image that was not fake and generated. So if you go to some trusted source, whatever it is, you're gonna have to have some trusted source of ground truth going forward, because AI, and again, back to, is AI gonna destroy us all? That's just what I think is the immediate threat of AI. In the long term, I don't think I don't subscribe to the fact that it's going to like take over, the Pentagon or something like that. I think that'll be far-fetched.
So yesterday I finished the quotes regarding these doomsday ideas. The last quote I gave was from OpenAI's founder, Sam Altman, and he had a doomsday quote. So do you think he knows actually like what he's doing? Like, in other words, he's created this platform, but can the AI be trained to the point where there's a tipping point and it kind of is going faster than what even Sam Altman expected? And then all of a sudden, we have this like tidal wave of AI generated content that can have this type of impact on society that you're describing as it relates to misinformation and disinformation. So like, do you think even the creators of these artificial intelligence, like Sam,
Are they even in control?
Yeah, do you think he knows what he's doing?
Well, I think he knows what he's doing there, because I think that's hyperbolic to generate interest in OpenAI. Like, oh, this, like, it gets everyone's attention. OpenAI is a fascinating case in my industry covering this stuff as a journalist, because last year we were all talking about Web3 and the metaverse and things like that. All of a sudden, ChatGPT came out with just something you could go in and sort of act like a search engine. You'd go in and you'd ask it to write something, and it would, and it was fun, but it didn't seem that groundbreaking, right? It would just spit out like a Wikipedia article for you. Quickly. So it was just interesting that we were conversing with it, and it was fascinating, but that was a marketing thing. It just sprung this into the public, and then all of a sudden everything became AI, and we all became focused on that. Web3 and the metaverse sort of moved to the background, and then it was AI. So Sam Altman, I think, helped start that shift in the conversation, even though Google, Meta, OpenAI, we're all working on these large language models and chatting. They just had it in a box. Now, so I think his doomsday prediction was probably more marketing than anything. Like, hey, we've got something that can destroy the world. Great, let's check it out. But I don't think it will. The thing that they say AI will work to is what? General artificial intelligence, which is right now it's pretty stupid. It doesn't do anything you don't tell it to do, or it doesn't know anything that hasn't been fed to it. Once AI, if it could ever reach a general intelligence, then people think it'll be like as if an alien came down to Earth and was a million times smarter than us, because AI that's actually self-fulfilling is the scarier prospect. But I don't know if that's even possible. Like, can computers be conscious? I don't know.
I guess we'll find out. Right?
Find out.
So when you mention the competitors, like, what are they up to? What's Google, Meta, and Microsoft up to? And how are they pushing back on the rapid growth and interest in OpenAI?
That's what I was covering a lot, because I write about Google, Meta, Microsoft for longer than OpenAI, since they've been around longer, obviously. And after OpenAI came out, then Google and Meta, which was Facebook, they were all like, wait a minute, we've been developing this stuff for 20 years. You know, you have the machines like Amazon's Alexa that you talk to. That's sort of an AI. There's machine learning in there. And am I speaking well on this? Is this too loud or too low?
You're beautiful.
We're good?
You're
We're
beautiful.
good, everyone? All right. So then they saw OpenAI came out, and they were like, oh man, this is the worst. We've been doing this for years, but we've been keeping it under wraps. And I think they were doing that for a reason, because it's scary to say, oh, hey, we're working on AI. There was a Google engineer about a year ago that had to leave the company because he was saying the Google AI he was working on told him to get a lawyer because the AI had human rights or AI rights, and he convinced the engineer that he was sentient. If you talk to ChatGPT, like I said, they hallucinate. These text messaging machines hallucinate. So well before OpenAI, Google was having this PR problem of like, what kind of AI does it have in the basement that's turning engineers into thinking that they love them? So that was an interesting case, but then OpenAI sort of blew open the box. And that's when Google and Meta all said, you know what, we're going to release our models and there's no stopping this train. So they all released something this year. You have Microsoft, Google, Meta, all with large language models, different approaches. And it's all very much tied to advertising and brands because all the advertising on the internet is powered by machine learning and will be increasingly powered by generative AI, where all the ads you see are created by AI. So that's where it's all going.
So what are you seeing as far as OpenAI's competition goes that will be distinguishable from OpenAI's product offering? So like start with Google. I think let's keep it simple. And Google, I know that you just recently made some interesting Google announced some interesting news with regards to their AI. So why don't we start there? What's Google doing that's different from the competition, and where do you think it's gonna lead?
Yeah, that was an interesting case too, because Microsoft is working with OpenAI. So they took ChatGPT and put it into Bing. So if you go to the Bing chat, you'll start talking to Bing. And will Bing be a better search engine than Google? Well, that all of a sudden you're not just talking about AI, you're talking about search. And that's Google's home turf, right? They don't want to have any break in that wall. So that's also why Google went quickly into releasing its own version of an AI search, generative search experience, I believe it's called GSE. And they have something called Bard, which is the answer to Bing chat and ChatGPT. Bard is Google's answer. So you can go into Google services and see for yourself which one does better in terms of generating responses for you or creating something. So Google put it into search first. And it also has a large digital advertising industry. So it's incorporated generative AI into creating ads, and it has more ad products that are based on, hey, take all my assets as a brand or a company and feed it into the AI, and then the AI can know my brand and generate more material for me, more content.
Is that available for companies now?
Yeah, they're doing that now, and they're doing it with major ad agencies. The major top ones, the biggest ones in the world, like Omnicom, WPP, IPG, all the big agencies. Companies like Coca-Cola are embracing this stuff. Oreo cookies, they all see this future. When I talk to advertisers, they talk about like, I have to rush and get all my stuff into Google's AI, all my content, so that once this rolls out even more broadly, I'm 6 months ahead of the game. So advertisers are very much pushing to embrace this AI. Like,
have you seen any of the content from this new Google product yet? And is it good?
It's tough to say which ads are AI generated. It's more like it's not like a Super Bowl ad yet. You're not like going to see that happen. We're talking about programmatic ads where you're just on YouTube and you see an ad for jeans and it's your favorite jean company, and all of a sudden it knows you better because it's AI generated, and it's like, oh, it knows you like the color this, and it just knows a little more. So the ads are not like beautiful, Ridley Scott edited films here. They're just like programmatic ads, serve them everywhere, but they'll get better and better. I mean, there will be more.
So how do you see that impacting the creator economy and advertising agencies in particular? Is that going to have a chilling effect on the creative class?
Obviously, that's what people are most scared of. And like we said, I'm a journalist, so it scares me too. There's newspapers that are just putting out AI generated news stories, like
saw that.
it was Gannett, and there was covering their local sports in I forget what town, but the article wasn't any good, so I wasn't scared of ChatGPT generated articles yet. So I don't think anyone should be just yet. but it is more like search. Like if you're a student, you're not going to go to ChatGPT to write your paper, but if you don't know ChatGPT, then you're going to do your paper more slowly. You're not going to be ahead of the game. So and same with the creative industries. Like you just have to use these tools like you would have used Photoshop 10 years ago. Like, I don't think it's going to replace those jobs. It's going to make your job easier and better.
So let's talk about the quality of these ad campaigns for a minute. You've written a lot about these major corporations. You spoke a little bit about AI integrating with celebrity marketing. So in your opinion, like, what are the best and worst executions in the creative class through the use of AI? So if you're going to say like top 2 or 3, let's start with the positive, top 2 or 3 best executions creatively through the use of AI, which would you highlight?
I love going to see what some of the cool ones are. Like I said, like on LinkedIn, a lot of people I follow, there's just random tinkerers who are enthusiastic about going to especially image generation. Like if you're on the Dolly or Stable Diffusion was one of them, and Midjourney, where they're doing the images, and you can go in and just be like, hey, give me an image of Santa Claus riding a donkey. I don't know what it'd be. Whatever you want. The thing spits it out. So that's cool things. I've seen a lot on LinkedIn. One of my favorite is collabs, fantasy brand collaborations. So if you want to go see, I don't know, someone I follow on LinkedIn was putting Nike stores on Mars, and like really thinking about creative ideas that you can spin up now in 5 seconds, where it would have taken Nike 6 months to do a collab. Oh, I want to do a collab with Coach, luxury wear, and Nike. Right. So my sneakers look like, and the images are coming out and they're just cool. So fantasy collabs is probably one of my just like fun obsessions. And then now you're gonna see, just like if you're on anywhere, you're gonna see collabs everywhere. You're not even gonna know if they were generated by AI or not. You're like, wait, is that real? Is Twinkie and United Airways really teaming up on a Twinkie looking plane?
Sure. So for big brands though, have you seen like any perfectly executed campaigns that are getting, full digital distribution, broadcast television distribution through the use of AI?
We've seen some use of AI in ads. I don't think like a Super Bowl ad, like I said.
Yeah.
There may be some examples that I'm not thinking of where it's like they sort of used AI, but nothing too advanced.
Yeah. When do you think we'll be there though? When do you think it will? Do you think it will be ubiquitous, and when? Like, will the use of AI in creating ad campaigns be ubiquitous?
It is. I don't mean to say it's not already. I mean, like, will it create the TV ads you see? Yeah, eventually, like it will. Like, it'll be built into Disney's ad platform that when you're on Disney Plus, it's going to generate ads based on AI and your personalized viewing experience that will do video ads. But one of the hurdles here is the video problem, because video, if anybody knows, video is one of the hardest things for AI to actually do well. Like if you see AI generated video, it's kind of janky. I don't know if anyone's seen the Will Smith eating spaghetti videos. One in the back has seen this. Well, search for Will Smith eating spaghetti AI, and you could just see why that's still not quite perfect. AI cannot recreate someone eating spaghetti, apparently.
How far off are we though from AI being able to execute on that?
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm just not as technically savvy. Your next guest may know, but maybe 2 years. Or maybe it's harder than I think. But once a video is that easy, yes, that will be able to do TV commercials. Right now, advertisers are using this stuff to conceive of campaigns, write tweets, using AI to write LinkedIn posts. Like AI is being used, it's just in different, more subtle ways.
So brands have shifted their dollar allocation and their budget significantly towards paid social over the past 5-7 years, especially with the advent or the beginning of direct-to-consumer brands. We've seen a lot of money go towards that. How do you see artificial intelligence disrupting the social media vertical for paid media specifically?
Yeah, and that's probably where the advertising is being used the most. Like the ad platforms do have, Meta has released into their ad manager, which is where you just go in to set up the campaign to say, hey, I want to reach 10,000 people in this location, and you put in all your brand assets, and then it runs the campaign for you. That's where it's already using AI now. They've released, and Google has in their ad tech platform, they've released where you put in your assets, your photos, all your brand imagery, all your brand copy, and the AI generates 1,000 different types of ads for different types of people, which is what you're seeing on
Very affordable
Meta or
for,
YouTube.
for smaller brands.
And it makes it cheap. Exactly. So if you're DTC, it's just cheaper to spin up and you just let it run and it finds your customers without you having to do anything anymore. You used to have to be in the ad platform and really look for your specific audience and really test and really do everything. AI is making that much easier to do. So if you start a brand, if you go on Midjourney and create a fake brand that you think is cool, get creative assets out of Midjourney, put them into Facebook, get ChatGPT to write your copy for you, you can create a brand in 10 seconds. I mean,
incredible.
Maybe a little longer, but.
Yeah, but it's incredible. So there are a lot of these tools coming through the social media specter right now. I saw, for example, TikTok has created an AI tool specifically to develop avatars. And they also have I don't know if they've launched it yet, but a script generator. So what are those? What is this AI tool that creates avatars? What is TikTok's script generator? And what's that going to do to the social media landscape?
The script generator sounds like if you're on TikTok and you don't know what to do, you could ask the script like, hey, what TikTok should I do? And it'll tell you, oh, crack an egg on your head and run around in a circle. And then you'll go viral because it knows what's trending. I'm not sure that's a trend, but I made that up.
It's a trend.
That is a trend, isn't it? The crack an egg on your head trend. Yes. So AI will tell you to do that, which is another danger of AI, by the way. If TikTok's AI is telling you to do something, don't do everything TikTok's AI tells you to do, folks. But so that's one thing, the script generator. Then there's the AI avatar.
Yep, they have a new tool, right, to create avatars. So if those are lifelike, what will happen to influencer marketing?
Yeah, well, those can be if you're already an influencer, you could take your avatar and have it go do stuff for you and make you money while you're doing nothing, right, perhaps. But there also are AI VR influencers on their own. So brands are creating those. I forget which ones now off the top of my head, but there are brands that have created K-pop stars that are virtual and they own the IP. And AI can create music, AI can create all these things that are just making it easier to spin this stuff up.
So I don't know if you're paying attention to the strike in Hollywood as it relates to both, the celebrities and the screenwriters. But it's kind of interesting coming off of this concept of avatars or digital twins of a celebrity. Do you think that perhaps the strike, the studios in particular, are missing a big component surrounding digital twins? Like, if celebrities no longer really need to do the work and AI can create the content, and I'm thinking really as it relates to the ad industry, but I guess it extends all the way into long format films, feature films. If the celebrity can leverage his or her digital twin to create content fueled by AI, are the studios in more trouble than they realize?
it's funny that you put it that way. Are they the ones in trouble? The actors are the ones who are like, no, don't take our AI image and use it without our consent, or like.
But that's what I see. I see the actor owning his or her AI, her digital twin. The studios don't have that.
Well, that's why I think, like, if you're in the film as something, it goes both ways. But you're right, though. The studios, I think, are concerned, because pretty much you're going to be able to generate your own script and have the AI generate the video, and people will be able to put out content and movies at fast rates that will compete with the studios. If you are the actor alone, like, oh wait, I have a great script, I can make this movie in 2 months on this new technology.
And then that's pushing into the advertising space, right? Like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that LeBron James and Aaron Rodgers were recently, through the use of AI, featured in a gambling site's commercial. Was it WSN?
Was that illicitly, or they were supposed to?
It's my understanding that they were willing to participate, but the campaign was fueled by artificial intelligence.
I think Snoop Dogg's done some of that too. So it happens. Yeah, it is happening.
So I guess there could be a transformation as it relates to brands interacting with social media through the use of AI, and then also celebrity marketing and influencer marketing can be impacted through digital twins and avatars as it relates to AI.
That's definitely happening. And I think what's also happening, I hate to turn things sinister because I am an optimist, but you also see it being used like on some YouTube ads I've seen, where they're taking famous voices and using computer generated software to take people's voices who are popular, maybe a popular YouTube star. And these are not for like good products. They're just sort of like crappy, YouTube sales pitch type ads. So I think you're able to take images and you're able to do it quickly. So it is affecting everything. But I think it's just it complicates things once you add this to the mix.
So there's a company named 11 Labs that I think is at the forefront of using AI to impact voice or voiceover. And as a result, we're getting all of these deep fakes, right? So how do you see deep fakes influencing or impacting the ad industry? Because it seems to me that people are excited when they all of a sudden recognize the Pope wearing a white Montclair and it looks super real. More people are paying attention to that than perhaps the traditional campaign. So where's the tension going to happen as it relates to deep fakes in the advertising world, and then brands protecting their intellectual property and consumers not understanding that the brand is not creating those campaigns?
When it's like the Balenciaga one and it was not authorized, or maybe it was, who knows, they're that genius that it was done very well. But so yeah, it does affect brands. They are worried about their intellectual property. The brands are, first and foremost, when they're using these tools, and anyone who's going to be creating through AI is going to need this. They got to go to like Adobe or somewhere else where the AI is only using authorized and licensed imagery. So that's the concern, is that when you're using AI as a brand, you're stealing someone else. Was that AI model trained on data that's not yours or images that are not yours? So when it pumps something out, Walt Disney doesn't come to you and say, hey, that looks an awful lot like Mickey Mouse or something. So you have to they're all trying to work this through where, okay, the AI models we use only use our images, only use our stuff. So that's one thing brands are doing. The other thing is on the deepfakes, YouTube and Universal Music just made a deal where they're collaborating on AI generated music, which is another interesting topic because they're taking things like Frank Sinatra voice and making him sing like obviously Frank is no longer with us, but he is able to sing thanks to the magic of AI, and people are just taking his voice and creating these songs like Frank Sinatra singing a popular hip hop song or something. They're quite good. They sound like Frank Sinatra, but they're not authorized by his family. So YouTube is working with Universal Music Group just to explore this stuff. Like, what do we do when somebody takes Drake voice and makes them sing something?
So what happens? I mean, right now, the Barbie movie is so hot, right? Have you seen it?
I got to see it. I'm still waiting. I was on the Oppenheimer side of that one. It was wrong.
You got to get
wrong
in there.
choice.
You got to get in there. I saw Barbie, and it's incredible. I would highly recommend that you see it.
I will.
And I think Johnny Cash sang, obviously it wasn't Johnny Cash, but somebody created Johnny Cash singing the Barbie girl song.
Oh, not in the movie though. This was just done.
Correct. I believe it was user generated content. So what are brands supposed to do when individuals can manipulate and use AI to create visual expressions of the brands, right? You have video, you'll have photography type of imagery, photorealistic imagery of brands. And I would imagine there are these tidal waves of user-generated content surrounding Barbie, like the Johnny Cash example. What should brands expect? Like, is this a dangerous area for them where their intellectual property that they've built and preserved and have spent millions of dollars to invest in, to create over the years, is it at risk now?
Probably, it's definitely a risk, but interesting note on Johnny Cash, Roseanne Cash was part of the UMG YouTube announcement. So Roseanne Cash, I guess, was probably had seen that too. So the estate of Johnny Cash is looking for that. I heard that song. It was pretty good. But the other thing is brands are, and they were worried about that with NFTs and Web3 too. Like, there was someone who was making sort of a McDonald's mashup into NFTs, and it got very popular. And they were using McDonald's whole sort of imagery, but it wasn't McDonald's. It was a mashup. It was a whole repurposed recreation. Still, McDonald's was able to get that project shut down and kicked off OpenSea.
Right.
So you go right to the platforms and the gatekeepers and you say, get it off there. And it seems to work. But again, in the apocalyptic version of AI where it's just flooded, is there any way to stop it? It's something that brands are thinking about and worried about.
So what can happen if there's so much AI user-generated content surrounding Gucci's spring fashion show? Like, can there be a negative element to that as it impacts brands like Gucci and Vuitton and Hermes?
Yeah, have we been through a big fashion week since AI has come around? We'll have to see, but no, there's a new one coming up in September. There's always a fashion week, but I think it's good for their brands, but they're also very litigious and very on top of it, right? The luxury brands are very, and they've been doing.
How can they control it? Like what's going to happen?
It's just sort of like the Canal Street, but in the internet, right? So that's what they'll do. They'll just keep policing and policing.
Canal Street on the internet is a fantastic categorization. I love that.
Thank you. That's why I'm a writer. So
amazing. All right. So beyond that, let's go back to the influencer marketing piece for a second. Ready Player Me just announced that they're launching something called Life Forms. Do you know a little bit about it, and how is that going to impact traditional influencer marketing?
Yeah, like Ready Player Me, their avatars look really, really cool, and they'll wear. And I've talked to them. They talk about using AI to instantly create. Like, if you're, create. Talk about knockoffs. If you can use AI to create a knockoff Gucci bag, but a digital Gucci bag, so that the flood of goods on the internet that you thought you owned the only $10,000 Gucci bag on Minecraft, is now all of a sudden flooded with fake Gucci bags on Minecraft. That's really next level. But
it sounds like, from your perspective, AI can really have a chilling impact on brands' intellectual property, whether it's an entertainment brand, a luxury house, a sports brand. It seems like that can be a real problem.
It can be a real problem, definitely. But I think like these gatekeepers, like we said, if it's where are all the virtual goods happening on Roblox, like Roblox will shut that down if you're PacSun and somebody's making counterfeit PacSun virtual goods. But if we do proceed to a place where it's all blockchain and metaverse and it's like everyone's just moving seamlessly between these worlds, then it might become harder to police or easier to police. I don't know if it's all on the blockchain. Is it all transparent? We can tell you're wearing a fake. So, okay, you have a fake one, but it's not the real one because it's not tied to the blockchain and very well established. Like we know you have a fake. Some people like fakes. I don't know.
True. So along that line, like, do you feel brands and individuals should be obligated to disclose when artificial intelligence is used to create content?
Yeah, I think definitely in journalism, 100%. I mean, actually, that's a harder question because it's not like I'll say, oh, I used Google search to find information about this subject when I wrote this article. But if you're using any text from an actual search engine or from an AI search engine, that should be disclosed if any of the text came from it. With images, if it's a news image, yes, of course. What news image could even be generated by AI? I don't know. So this is a tough question. I'm thinking about it because I'm like,
it's kind of interesting. So
should Photoshop be disclosed because they used it in their ad?
Personally, I don't think so, right? But then yesterday, Assemblyman Vanel mentioned that there's a bill that's running through the state right now that would obligate politicians to disclose that they're using artificial intelligence in their ad campaigns. But to your point, if AI is your earlier point, if AI is really just a tool to execute a creative vision, but it's the individual that's still harnessing that creative vision that it's being augmented through the use of AI, is that disclosure really needed?
Maybe in political ads, maybe that's a good use case because if you're, the old political ads, we remember it was if you just like turned down the tint or like made it slow motion, that would make it like look evil enough. So I don't know if you disclose how you did that when you put that on TV, but AI, you don't know. Yeah, in those instances, it might be important to say, like in political advertising or food, like our McDonald's burgers don't look like this sort of thing.
So going back to one of the earlier comments, as far as like the big companies that are in AI now, OpenAI, Meta, Microsoft, Google, right? Is that a fair? Those four.
That's a good rundown. Yeah.
So who do you think of those four horses will win this race ultimately?
Oh, who wins AI? Oh man, it's tough to bet against Google. OpenAI could have more. It's interesting because all the companies that spend money on this are giving money to all of them. So if you're an advertiser and you work with Google, you also work with Amazon, you work with OpenAI, you work with Facebook, Meta. So everyone's being worked with. So they're all going to be in AI and they're all going to be winners. I don't know if there's a way to not be.
Do you feel like the companies that are, essentially wrapping the technology to create a new product will ultimately go away? And perhaps it's intellectual property rights and distribution that will help win the AI war?
How so? I can maybe see that, but what do you mean?
Well, there are so many companies that are just plugging in, let's say, OpenAI's technology in to launch their own, version of GPT that might be a little specialized, right? But ultimately, they're just repackaging, GPT. So who wins, right? Is it the celebrity that owns their intellectual property and can harness their voice to create a music vertical like Grimes and The Weeknd have done now? Or will these small companies that are wrapping their brand's positioning around the technology have a chance?
I think some of the places I've seen GPT get integrated is like, yeah, companies have to put it on their website so that you could talk to that chat GPT, or it has to be on an app or something. So companies are taking that technology and they are putting a wrapper around it, and it's their brand's version of chat GPT. So I think all companies are going to do that. In music, do you think it's better to put all your music out there like Grimes and just say, let's let it all out there and let anyone use my voice? Or do you want a lockdown and a hold over it?
I think from a branding perspective, artists should have a hybrid business model. I think they need to preserve the integrity of their creativity and lock down their creative vision, right? So a music artist like Grimes, where she releases her own version of a new album or a new song. But then I love the idea of unlocking the intellectual property, her voice, to allow for the whole planet to become creative. And I think that the potential to monetize that type of use of AI will, in many cases, including Grimes, dwarf the revenue that she'll create, that she'll generate from her original music in comparison.
Yeah, I think that's a choice for
Are
like
you
a
interviewing me now?
Well, yeah, I was trying to see where you would take it.
Yeah,
If you would open it up, should Marc Beckman have to, make an AI of yourself and then just let the world use it?
Yeah, I think these musicians, it's a new monetization model. And I think if they control the digital twin, if they control their voice, they'll be able to monetize this in different ways, including advertising.
Yeah, no, that's definitely some way it'll go. But then I think there's going to be, like the Beatles, they were never on even like Apple Music until on
Right.
iTunes until 10 years later or something. So some of the, if you're still the best of the best, you guard it with your life. But there's going to be challengers that come up and they'll have different views and just put it all out there.
For sure. So when I introduced you, I told everyone that you're really at the forefront of innovation and technology. And I really believe that. I've been following your work, as you know, for over a decade. Can you predict for everybody in the room and everybody watching us on YouTube right now, where you see great innovation coming from in the next 12 to 18 months? Stuff that we haven't heard about yet.
Oh man, that we haven't heard about. Well, I think, if it's something you never heard about, I probably won't say that, but I will say I think video will get better in AI. I think that's the next step for it to generative AI to get good. Other technology that I'm following is probably, I think the spatial computing, which you've all heard of, will start getting better, and people are playing games like Roblox I know people laugh at the metaverse now, sort of, but people seem to be using these devices, mixed reality. You know what I find kind of cool is sort of like in advertising. Have you ever seen 3D billboards? I'm always interested when I come across those. I'm like, wow, that looks cool. And I think that's sort of like holographic I hate to say it, people hate advertising, but it's everywhere. So there's going to be holograms. It's a Minority Report.
So will we all experience advertising in a way in the future that we haven't experienced yet historically?
I think it's the way people think it's gonna look, but it will look cooler or like in places that people just don't even realize. And talk about AI, the more it's generating content and the less you realize this is even advertising. Like when you're on TikTok, the bounty paper towel roll behind the TikTok creator is not there by accident. Like, or at some point, AI will put the product placement onto TikTok. We have virtual product placement on connected TVs. It's all moving onto YouTube, onto TikTok, and everything is advertising.
Will AI be able to personalize product placement eventually?
Yeah, I think it is already. But yeah, not as ubiquitously as it will, and it definitely will.
Interesting. All right, let's open it up. Does anybody have any questions? There's a microphone right behind you, actually. If you can use the microphone, that would be very helpful, please.
Generative AI science. I was curious, the universal entrance mapping delivers points. What would you suspect the victims is like who will they be in that there's space with respect to buying some generative
I think it is being led by the music studios because they are the most litigious and they were the first with Napster and things like that. They've always been the first to clamp down on copyright. I think there will be general tools for the public too, where when you're using generative AI just on your own, the platforms will have to take some responsibility for it to assure you that you're not infringing on some rights. But there will always be platforms that you can access where it will be completely open because people want to get access to all material. They don't want to just have like a sanitized version of AI to use. They want the full throttle thing. If that helps, I hope that answers partly.
Just to take it a little further, I think the issue, my background is law. So it's a very interesting issue when you talk about intellectual property and artificial intelligence. And I predict that we are going to see several cases ramp all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States as it relates to these topics very soon, within the next 12 to 18 months. And a lot of them are going to be pegged against what we've done historically. So, Garett has referenced a lot of technology that we've looked at in the past during our conversation, bringing it all the way up to date as it relates to AI. I think the Supreme Court will do the same thing. So for example, there were cases that analyzed whether or not a photograph that was created with a digital camera is able to be copyrighted. And the Supreme Court ruled that where an individual is manipulating the technology to create that digital image, that in fact that IP could be legally protected. And I think we'll see the same thing here, running all the way up. And that will happen as it relates to singers, creators of images, creators of film, and beyond.
Oh no, who are we gonna lose? I hate to pick a loser.
I promised Garett we would bet on the winners tonight.
Yeah, they're all winners. I guess the most vulnerable is Meta, right? Just because their situation as being a walled garden where it's like if you don't continue using it, then it's at risk. But it's so big that that if it doesn't innovate, it won't, it will take a while. And Meta also was a little behind in how its AI worked, and what it was developing, like what its strategy was.
And isn't Llama open sourced?
And Llama is that language, large language model is open source.
It's a major cultural shift for Zuckerberg, right?
Right. They're giving, and OpenAI was supposed to be open source as well, but they sort of
They're not
went
doing
insular.
Yeah, they're not doing it.
So
It's open isn't open.
open isn't open, but yeah, Meta surprisingly is. Maybe that is the difference though. Maybe that'll keep them competitive because people will build with them and see them differently.
I think so. I think so.
Generates things from AI should not. That's helping us. Anyway. They'll give a place for you. What are your first?
Personally, I'm learning about AI to make sure that whatever version of journalism is going on in 10 years, I'm still doing it. And I think it, like I said earlier, I think it's sort of like learning Google search 20 years ago. You're like, wait a minute, here's this new thing. If you're just not up on it, you're not gonna be, all of a sudden we were able to make news articles that much quicker because we had the internet. Now we have AI, which you have to use a little bit. I'm not as worried though, because if anybody plays with ChatGPT and asks it to write a story for them, you tell me if it's any good. I don't think it is, not yet.
I think that GPT is not as compelling as it relates to its writing ability as an individual like you or your colleagues. However, I do think it's telling that the AI has been trained in such a short period of time to pass the bar exam, to pass, certain tests. So I wonder, like when we talk about Bard versus GPT, one issue is I think Bard has more up-to-date knowledge, right, than GPT. I think GPT cuts off at 21.
Yeah, I think
Bard
that's an
goes up
intentional limit so that it doesn't get involved in current events.
right? And then I think Bard goes up to 23, correct?
I think Bard is current, yeah.
So will these artificial intelligence platforms be able to customize and take on certain writing nuances that your colleagues might have to become more sophisticated?
Yeah, that's a good point. I shouldn't be blasé about it because if you're searching for the news and you're just asking it for your, hey, this is a topic I'm interested in, and then all of a sudden it starts taking snippets from my articles and you're no longer clicking over to Ad Age to read the article, you're just reading it in Bard, then that messes with the industry. That's something publishers are very worried about. So those sort of things technically are worried about, but we've been worried about Google and Meta.
But look
forever.
at your work. When we started, I spoke about the work you just did with regards to YouTube. I mean, that interview is incredible. So there's no way that artificial intelligence would be able to get that story. It's the person, like the humanity, that still will transcend the AI.
I have that hope as well.
Right?
I think so.
Any other questions, guys? Please.
I think media was really expressed like cheaper way that emotional awareness. But I was wondering if it was also results of the virtual. And my time as trying to market campaign for technologies. But there are always questions because addition to that, generating the revenue and how we see
Can you just say it just a little again? I didn't get the last part.
It's hard, it's difficult to hear from that microphone because the speakers are in the back of the room. It might be easier if you don't use the microphone. Yeah, please. Sorry. The unseen purpose.
In which platform, like where do you think virtual worlds? Oh, you think the unseen purpose is there's an unseen purpose about tracking and just maybe there's no point to it generating revenue, but there's could be some benefit somehow. I think it's experimentation. I don't think there's like an unseen purpose. Like they're just like, hey, let me experiment here. But yeah, with all internet advertising, they're trying to track you. That's for sure. So all the better. But it could also be for data gathering or not like nefariously. It could just be like, let me experiment, see what the younger generation thinks in Roblox, how much of our market is here. Virtual goods, let's try it out. It's just like literally play money for them.
Yeah, the brands, in my experience, the brands that are playing in gaming metaverses like Fortnite and Roblox and Zepeto have had some tremendous success. By way of example, NARS Cosmetics launched not too long ago in Roblox. And according to a colleague of mine at NARS, they had 100 million users of their digital color palette to be used on avatars in game. Now, interestingly, as per Garett, none of that was monetized. However, the parent company of NARS, Shiseido, did report that that interaction with the younger generation had a positive halo effect on the physical sales of NARS Cosmetics. So to Garett's point, I agree. I think a lot of brands are trying to reach young millennials and Gen Z and even Gen Alpha where they are. And I think artificial intelligence is going to play a big role in gaming metaverses through user-generated content. And we were talking about this before we started, where kids can now go in, or all of us can now go in and design through tools like Unreal Engine and build environments that are hyper-realistic, that are dreamlike, that are beautiful, where we're all pulled into Fortnite, not to shoot guns, but to experience perhaps a beautiful luxury brand. And maybe that drives us into the store on Madison Avenue to make the purchase.
Well, one other interesting thing I've seen of that is that brands can also use these virtual goods just to see if there's interest in that product when it's digital. Like, oh, do they like this design or that design? And before they produce anything in the real world, they've tested in the digital world to see if there's a market for it. So that they're not creating something that just sits on shelves. They're like, oh, there is a market. They can take data like that to then translate to the real world and make it part of their strategy. I'm also, can you speak into it?
Yeah, it's tough because that microphone goes to the back of the room. So it might be better if you turn the microphone off and scream. Sorry.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, at companies, they're going to all need heads of AI and intellectual property. So at the companies themselves, then there's the Deloitte and Accentures that I think those sort of like mega consulting firms that do that kind of work. And then if there is editorial work for a watchdog group to do fact checking, I mean, there are fact checking organizations that already try and do that with just misinformation in general. So there will always be room for more, always cybersecurity experts that will have to make this part of their repertoire. So yeah, those are definite.
Yeah, I think just to take that concept a little further, I believe that artificial intelligence is going to play a major role in driving cryptocurrency and NFTs, as well as blockchain. And one great use case of blockchain technology is authentication. So with things that are critically proven to be real, maybe it's an ID, maybe it's a piece of artwork, perhaps it's even an ad campaign, right? An original ad campaign. Those elements will ultimately be minted on the blockchain. So people will be able to distinguish with no uncertainty what's actually real versus perhaps user-generated content or deep fakes and beyond.
I think that's supposed to be how it works, that there can be some metadata within media that will authenticate it. It's still not perfect because the blockchain is very hard to read. It's supposedly super transparent, but we're all going to have to just pour through chain of code to authenticate things. So there could be job opportunities for the companies that do that and do the authenticating and create the infrastructure of trust. In the real world real estate or in like the metaverse real estate?
Wow, that's a whole other hour conversation.
Yeah, the real estate, there is, AI will help you do your videos of the lands you're selling. AI will find your potential leads for customers. AI will run your campaigns on Meta. So it will have something to do if you have a smaller real estate business. So it'll have applications there and maybe similar things in the metaverse.
You want to do last question and then we'll let Garett. Yeah, we'll let Garett go.
So in terms of creative staff, let's say, additional credits, what do you suspect would be like Photoshop plus midterm copy side, you know, I'm studying interactive. And it's interesting. There's so many. Even though it's like, I don't know how to.
I'm not as familiar with all the tools. I think your next guest is coming up to talk about like every potential platform. Is that right? So I'll let that question. You're going to get that question answered if you're sticking around. So that's a good tease.
I think just to follow up a little bit, there's also there are issues, right? Like there are certain nuances to each vertical that you just spoke about, right? Still imagery versus moving picture, audio content, and beyond. And currently there are certain platforms that are offered that I think are better than others. And I think you'll hear Chris, he went through this yesterday in depth, and you'll hear him follow up today, but you'll get these nuances from Chris today, specifically as it relates to Midjourney. But I think a lot of that is based upon intent of use. I've seen them. I've seen them. It's a little overwhelming what's going on. AI, everything is being produced at such a high rate. Like I've never seen, if you follow like what's going on just simply on like X right now, the content that comes out specifically as it relates to products that are available is just overwhelming, right? It's incredible.
Again, next speaker will know more than me on this, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting now. You're already seeing plugins on the Microsoft Office applications for AI,
that's true.
right? Like it's already there. So,
but the bespoke tools that are really going in deep are there's things we play around with as consumers, and then there's the professional stuff. So I'm not as familiar with what professionally will be great, but I don't know. Will Microsoft write your emails for you going forward? A little bit.
It's funny because they offer that. Like there are certain AI tools that offer that now, but from a professional perspective, I wouldn't trust any of them to be able to get the quality of content, expertise, and emotion through an email that's important for me.
Yeah. No one needs that. I don't know. Nobody reads email anyway.
All right. So with that, Garett's been really generous with his time. We got Chris waiting. So Garett, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everyone. Good luck to everyone. It was great to be here. So thanks for listening.
Okay. So, hi again, everybody. So is anybody, who is not on the Discord yet? Or is everybody on? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna just like walk you quickly through how to do this and then like we can catch up just a little bit. So the first thing we need to do is sign up for Discord. So just go to discord.com for one. Here. Okay, so instructions for Discord is just go to discord.com and click this login. And then you'll create an account. Yeah, cool. Does anyone not have Discord yet? Okay, okay, go ahead, cool. Just to let you know, you can download the app, but it's probably just easier to use it in your browser. That's why I'm having you click this link and just do sign in. Sure. Let me know when you guys are ready for the next step. Do you guys have this PDF, by the way? And if you're, this link should have been mailed out to you, so you don't have to like copy it. Okay, so is anyone not on the server yet? Okay, we're all good. Sounds good. Okay, so next is sign up for Midjourney and go to join the beta. And then you'll click that and it'll continue to Discord and it should log you in with like your info. And you should then have the Midjourney app available there. And if you don't see this, then you can go back to that link and add server. So you can click the plus server link and then add that link. Everyone there? Cool. Okay. And so here's the thing is Midjourney has a free trial of like 25 minutes, which might get you through this exercise, but I think it's worth it to sign up so you can continue experimenting. So this next step on the PDF is basically how to sign up for Midjourney. And I would not do the yearly, I would just do the monthly. And I always set my reminders to cancel things after 1 month. Has anyone not done this yet? Cool. Okay. Oh, let me go take a look. Okay, so everybody, so the idea here with this exercise is that there we go. So here was the plan, is that everybody is going to receive their persona. So I'm going to go around and give everyone in the table their own persona. And you can see in the Discord channels, there's like, that's by persona. So you'll stick to that channel. And what you're going to do is read about your persona and sort of get the hang of the guy or girl. And then you're going to decide on a product you want to make. And it could be really anything, but like for my own persona, I just listed stuff that I'm likely to buy just to make it to help. And like, you know, I like to make things like wine bottles and things like that. So you really just whatever you want. And the whole idea is that we're going to attempt to make a product in the next like 30 minutes that is potentially something that that persona might actually want to buy. And then we're going to test the buyability of that persona in this survey. So I'm just going to quickly go. First, I'll actually go and assign the personas to the tables, and then we'll go talk about the instructions real quick if you didn't already read through them. And then you can just start getting at it. So, okay. You guys are Chris's. You guys are you guys are Tom. You're Tom. Okay, so I'm just gonna, if you guys are familiar and you already read these instructions, you can just get to it, but I'm just gonna go through them right now is, okay, so you read about your persona, and then you can discuss with your group what you're gonna make if you want, or you can just get started. And you're gonna just think of some ideas of things to make, and then you're just gonna get prompting. And I put like an example prompt in each one of these create channels. The create channels, you can join with other people. They're just there for you. It's cool to have your own channel because it doesn't conflict with other people's work, or you can work together, whatever you want. And then when you, here's the important part. When you guys like an image, you hit the upscale button, right? And there's instructions on that I'll explain later. And then you're going to save all the images you like to something in your own hard drive, okay? After 40 minutes or so, 30 minutes or so, we're going to choose your 2 best designs from that folder. And see, what I do is I have a folder that looks like this, and I'm going to just choose 2 of the ones that I think are best. Usually if I'm on a Mac, I label them green or whatever. And after you choose them, you're going to drag them into this folder called finalists. Just plop them in there. And then from there, they go into the survey. We're going to do the surveys together at the end. And then the personas are going to take the test to see if your product is basically fundamentally buyable. This is obviously a very simplistic version of like a persona test, but it's going to be a quick study to see if we can make a product that someone might buy in 30 minutes. Or normally this takes months and months of many, what's up? Sure, well, each one of these create channels has just an example prompt in it, right? And it's always pretty simple. You know, I start simple And then what I personally do is I'm like, okay, I'd make a sake bottle. And the sake bottles turn out to be very ornate. So I say then a minimalist sake bottle. And then I'm going to reference my profile. And it's like, oh, he likes Patagonia clothing, which must mean he likes kind of outdoorsy stuff. So now I'm going to do a minimalist bottle of thing with like designs about nature and see what it comes up with, and constantly iterate and give feedback based on what it shows you until you get something that is like looking like a normal product that's not too crazy. Okay, I'm going to go through this guide real fast. First of all, this is simple. Just type /fast. This will make things go quick. There's another relax mode that's really cool, but fast for this exercise. Prompting, you're just going to type /imagine and then start typing whatever you want to see. And to be clear, I do these rather quickly. Like there's no need to wait to see what comes out. You can just do 3 or 4 in a row. You want to get the most amount of possible in the next 30 minutes or so. This is what will come out. And all these U's on the bottom here are the upscales and the V's are versions. So let's say you like image number 1 here, but you want to see just like a few more versions of it because it's missing something. Like in my sake bottle example, sometimes it's missing a cork. So I'm like, I like that one, but give me more versions so I can find one with a cork. So just hit the V for versions, the U for upscale. And after you hit the U and upscale when you like, that's when you're going to drag it into your folder on your computer to like save and review later on for yourself. Okay. So in the Discord, I have a folder called like images near the top or something like that. So the idea is that if you want to use an image as inspiration for the type of thing that you're making, what you do is you enlarge the image, you click on it, right click, copy image address, you start to make your image prompt, and then you paste that little link here into your prompt, and then you describe what you're looking for. So if I was to paste this woman and try to do like a bottle of sake with this woman's face on it, that's just basically what I'm going to describe after I paste the link. Though it's not critical to do this, it's very helpful in general. Here's where the design images are in the Discord. So you can use just some of the ones I put if you choose to use them. If you want to make your own, you just drag them into the Discord, into the channel, copy the link, and then paste it into your prompt. Chaos is cool. Like I use chaos when I want to find inventive things. So typically, if you want to use chaos, at the very end of your prompt, you type --chaos 20. --chaos space 20 or 40 or whatever. But when you do chaos too high, it'll obviously get freakish results like this. This is not really important, but if you take an image, or if you hit /describe in Discord and you drag an image into it, it's going to give you what that image is made of by way of these prompt examples. So it's kind of cool to see like what an image is made of, but also it'll help you just like often people kind of run out of creativity for their prompts. But if you drag an image in, you'll see it'll come up with all these cool words that you can like use in your own prompt to be creative. And aspect ratio really isn't that important, but you know, if you want your bottle of sake or whatever to be very long or something very wide, you would type --AR 16:9 or --AR 9:16 or any other aspect ratio. And last note, before we get started, is just do it rapidly. Like do lots and lots of prompts. There's no reason to go it slow. You want to like burn through your hours as you can. Have fun and just hit me up if you need any questions. I'll be walking around.
Last time we just had people going off. Ah. No.
see the projects. Projects we got so far. Follow along.
So Chris, that his computer plugged in, right? You can call the files, right?
Yes.
Okay. So they're not sitting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
So what,
Yes,
my
yes,
my suggestion here is that you put their product up and then the consumer gives them feedback on it.
Okay.
With our time that we have.
Okay. That sounds good.
Okay. Okay. So David's first.
Okay. David. So is where, just real quick.
It's hard to hear comments from the audience.
I'm not. David is maybe on the live stream.
Okay.
This was a little different from what I
Yeah,
did.
okay. So, hi everyone.
I'm just David. Can you hear everybody well?
Hi everyone. Hi David.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. So our logic was to create a product for somebody that is well-traveled, business-oriented, environmentally oriented, mindful, likes to play sports, including soccer, is culturally diverse, likes Latin music. And so we ended up we initially started with a soccer ball, and we ended up, we didn't like the soccer ball that was created. It was neat. It had like a lot of neat images and stuff, but it ended up looking more like a bowling ball. And so we ended up combining the images that were created from the bowling ball and added a soccer cleat to it. And this is what we came up with.
Interesting. I really like the transition from the pastel down to the earthiness, and then I like the detail. There's a lot of interesting elements to the detail around the edge of the shoe.
Thanks.
I would definitely be interested in this, and I think, you know, I could see, you know, I could see this being of interest, not just as a custom for say me, but attractive to some broader market, maybe with some adaptations.
Thank you.
I would love to see if you guys. So we still have 3 more things to go. And 8 to develop this concept. Take a look at the box look like. So what are the ad campaign like sort of.
Okay. Yeah, that's absolutely. Yeah, we can certainly work on that.
So let's revisit it. Let's come back and revisit. And small. I love that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a lot of time.
Come on up, team. Let's go. So am I going to share my computer here? Yes. Okay, is Andres here? Okay, so like we
Yeah,
designed.
I'm here.
Hey, how's it going, buddy? So we designed a series of products for you, and we just kind of like went on an exploration using. Of course, sure, go ahead. So just hit like left and right to show the various products.
So good morning. So what we discovered is that the persona is an individual. So from what we've gathered, that the persona is an individual of nice taste, well off. He likes to find things in life and has the time and interest to partake in this. So I'll let you describe a little bit more, Mohammed.
And also, by your personas, we manage some products that shows you have a great taste with music and also with travelings and some explorations and journey. So we come up with several products. One of them with these wine bottles, which shows what can I say? It's like a great bottle for you to enjoy while you listening to the jazz concert, something like that. That's what I think. And maybe can we slide to others?
Yeah, I would just like go through them.
Wait. Oh yeah, and also because you really like sneakers or maybe some chocolate bars, we designed the this is the best that we can design right now. A chocolate bar with some unique journey and explorations in the packaging sites, and I hope you like that. Maybe someone want to.
Well, I can add too. He also likes to entertain his friends and his loved ones in life. So he does like, again, the finer things in life. And rather than just buying a candy bar, he buys basically a gift basket for his friends and loved ones and, you know, associates as well too. So I would say a lot of this is Asian infused, also very colorful. So he's a very bright person and, you know, likes to celebrate life. So this product is inspired by what he's looking for. And this is something that he would be interested in purchasing.
It's another design product that we made. Since Andres also loved food photography, so we tried to like bring up one of the dishes from Indonesian. So because it's also said that Andres love traveling, so maybe like this one can represent his persona.
So, and this is also a wine bottle that we think that
when you travel to many places, sometimes you might like to see some of this kind of bottle that you're traveling to with the place like Japanese and kind of that could represent your persona from traveling and like photography.
So I'm just going to quickly scroll, Andres, through these products that we have, and I'm interested to know which one you like the best, which one you find is the most viable. So we have this wine bottle. We have this interesting bottle of sake that sits on your table.
Wait, can you share the screen, because I see them in the corner, but I don't see them fully.
Okay. How does one share the screen here?
Aren't you in a Zoom session? Just push the green button.
Well, I am actually not.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I can see them in the corner. I can see them in the corner.
Okay, so we got this bottle of sake. Can I enlarge it? Does it get better if I enlarge it like this?
Oh, that's good. That's good. I can see it now.
Good. Here's our original wine bottle. Here's our bottle of international sake. Here's our chocolate bar. Here's our gift basket. Here's our spicy food. And back to the semi-Belvedere bottle. So of all those things, which appeals to you the most?
I would have to say the gift basket.
Nice.
It has a lot of, I make my own gin, and I would love that last bottle that you showed that was empty, beautiful glass bottle. And I would love to have it to make my gin and then serve it to people in my house. That would be great. The chocolate bar wrapper is very unique and interesting, but you know, I like to give gifts to friends, and I enjoy food, and you guys nailed that one really well. Although the Indonesian dish, boy, I like to have the recipe for that guy, but the gift basket is probably the product that I would buy, right?
Perfect.
I would buy.
Awesome. See, that's kind of what we're exercise here is we're like immediately testing these products that we only made like 15 minutes ago to see if someone is actually going to think about purchasing them. And then if we so desired, we could actually entrepreneurially turn these into products and sell them to people of this demographic. So I think that's very helpful. Thank you for the input. Appreciate it.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question before you go?
Sure.
So I see how Midjourney helps you create the images as a creative, right? That's like hiring a bunch of people who could do art, and they create your images of ideas you have. I can see checking with a customer like me, that's a focus group, but I don't see the jump to doing my digital persona. I mean, you have a profile of me and you interrogate that as you normally would by what a customer like this would like. But where do you put that in AI so that you can ask the AI, do you do a digital version of me and then ask those questions of me and then check to see whether the real life person like me would concur with the digital person? Is there a digital persona that you guys created that you would question, and how did you do that?
Shall I field this one?
It's Mark.
I can't hear you, Mark. I'm sorry. Those microphones in the room don't translate to people online.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Thanks, Mark.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
Mark.
participating today. We appreciate it. So what you're asking for is a little bit beyond the scope of this project. The people that built what you're looking at today, this has only been over the course of 2 hours of education. And how long would you guys say it took for you to design all these products today? 15 to 30 minutes of design work. So what we're going to do is we're going to create, I'm going to challenge them to create a digital twin of you and then build that into the ad campaign. So can you email us an image of you after we hang up? Send it to me and Liz, and we'll get it to the team. I'm going to put you in the ad campaign. Did you hang up? Oh, there you are.
You got it, man. You got it.
All right, man. It's good to see you. You look good, man. Talk to you.
Okay, thanks, Mark. All right, thank guys. Good job. Excellent. Love your products.
Let's really see if Andres sends us his image, and then we can integrate that, right? So a campaign featuring the product and Andres.
A digital version. Cool.
Yep. Sure. Do you have the link, the Discord link? Okay, so there should be a Milos like finalist folder down there. Yeah. Nice. Cool. Work.
Hi. So we developed a new luxury product line called Milo's Luxury Travel Goods, and it's inspired by Milo. Maybe you could give the company background.
All right, introducing our luxury watch collection, tailored and discerning the gentleman whose values family, travel, and the finer things in life, inspired by the sonority of Bali. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't read that part.
Yeah.
And the precision of a Grand Seco. It's not just a timepiece; it's a statement for the serial entrepreneur who's waiting on the move. Right.
It's crafted using the finest materials, ensuring longevity and durability, precision engineering. It guarantees accurate timekeeping. It's design inspired for global travels, resonating with the spirit of adventure. And our brand exists to celebrate life's moments, from the milestones of entrepreneurial success to the quiet moments with family. We believe in marking time with elegance, precision, and purpose. In a world that moves fast, we offer a piece of luxury that reminds our consumers of their journey, their achievements, and the timeless moment that truly matters. Without further ado.
Y'all gonna like this stuff. This stuff is funny. So.
Want to tell a little bit about our nature?
Hell yeah, this shit was fun. Let's try it. This is the Nature Watch. I don't know how this came about. We were just looking for like water products with watches. So we're like, okay, waterproof watch. But then we're like, okay, Nature Watch, because what is nature without water? So these are our three examples. We got the Aqua Watch. Now, we had a little joke here on the first one. The rocks look so crisp. I was like, man, we should just sell the rocks, man. Shit. Later for the watch. But you know, so there you go. So these are, what's the name of the
headphones?
No, the music.
Oh, the Deep Techno House?
Deep Techno. Deep Tech? Deep Techno?
Deep Tech House.
Deep Tech House.
Yeah.
So this is inspired by Deep Tech House. It's this type of music, and it's like techno almost.
And it has a sonic brand. The sonic brand.
Right. Like yeah. So this is the Deep. And so yeah, there you go. Yeah, and this is what is this? Algorithmic Deep Techno House.
That's what we were doing our. This is where we developed the products. We really wanted to get into Milo's head, so we created an algorithmic deep techno house brainstorm room.
And while we were over there in that little table, this is what we were envisioning ourselves in while we were with the high-tech computer and all that stuff. So this is, we could sell it to, you know, 15,000 for one of the pencils or something like that. And this is the good lamp. I don't know how this came about either, but it's pretty fire. So we just put it up there.
It's like the next LVMH, traditional luxury products.
Yeah. Oh. Don't put me on the spot now.
We did Miles Davis explorations before the.
Yeah, we did. It was interesting.
With Levi's in the 70s.
And so speaking of music,
He loves water, specific type of water.
right. This is the bottled symphony. It is to fulfill all of your luxury water drinks. So yeah, that's this. And the Enwrapped journals. Enwrapped specifically, the brand name is Enwrapped.
Other product lines, that's just the first, yeah. This is the mother brand is Enwrapped.
Wait, what?
We had a brainstorm, this is where we landed.
Wait. Oh, you're saying you should get rid of the W so it.
She wants some music lean, it could be.
Oh. Enwrapped Symphony, maybe. I don't know.
That's pretty good.
And this is the last one. This is Prolum Airlines and Resort Bookings. So this is a whole nother thing.
It's like the Virgin brand, you know, it goes everywhere.
But Prolum specifically is what? It's the springs in
Serbia.
In Serbia.
That's his favorite water. $19.99 for a, is that a 4-pack? $19.99 for a 4-pack.
No, $19.99 for a 4-pack.
Yeah.
I thought it was a 2-pack.
Not 4.
Okay. Okay, good.
Still,
Well,
still
it's some expensive
there's
ass
money in
water.
luxury water.
And listen, this was weird for me because I come from parents that are from the 60s and they're like, bottled water for $1, really? You know? So yeah, this is Prolum Airlines, the purest water in the world, and it's resort bookings. So there you go. That's our presentation.
Yeah.
To give you a few funny comments before I start the serious ones. Definitely you don't want to call airline Prolum because in Serbian actually means
Oh, well.
It's probably one of the worst things for an airline.
Well, it's breaking into a new experience of airlines. So it's, yeah, I got you.
It's like the concept of water is like the mountain is breaking and that's where the water comes from. But really here it's expensive. It's the cheapest water you can find in Serbia. So it's actually not the life.
It's the cheapest?
Yeah, it's like
No fucking, for real? Oh, in Serbia.
It's an import, so it's premium here.
Oh, it's premium here.
Yeah.
Going back to the previous one. Okay, let's start. Definitely here, I would actually go for the middle.
Yeah.
Because it's the cleanest lines, even though it's very complex. And this, if it was a real watch and coming from a Swiss company, would actually, from my experience, be probably like Russian constant some this for around 150,000 dollars.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Correct.
And but that wasn't your previous but you were looking for $5,000 watches, right?
We take 150. We do. We'll take 150. That's fine.
No. We're gonna take the 150. I'm just saying, you know.
The Aqua Watch, or the deep.
Yeah, the Aqua Watch right there.
Okay.
Also more interesting. I mean, they're clearly resembling some of the real pieces. And I mean, before the mass market, watch on the right side is definitely exception. Looks like the smartwatch.
Right.
The previous two would be mechanical. Smartwatch is great in the market, and that would be
Android.
piece or probably sell
Great.
kind of phone. And for new startup company, it's actually safer not going. It's like 150,000, unless two of you are like massive.
Yeah, that was my question while going through this was how would the production come out? Because then you got to make something that looks exactly like that.
I'm going to Shenzhen in June. Next June, we're going to be there.
Literally, like, and I'm not kidding here. This is prototyping. What you guys prototyping is also done there. There are spots in class that do that. bring something like this. Shannon, this is where literally your things have to show them this is 7 days later. We have a working prototype and find the market for it, then they can actually mass start this production. Of course, you will. Woo! Great work.
Thank you.
If you go back, that middle time, can you?
Yep.
Put that into the
Totally.
and
Yeah.
develop. So take the concept a little further. I think take that, put it in an campaign, let's take. Hopefully you'll be here.
Cool.
again.
Yeah, let's do it.
Until Friday.
Amazing. Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
We're over time now, so I'm trying to.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
So here is Angie. She's mid-20 Asian female, and she's a single. And we wanted to create the image for the festival advertisement image. And her idol vacation location is Hawaii, and she wanted to do the surfing in Hawaii. But I just add some story on it that she spent so much money on learning surfing before she went to the Hawaii. So she ended up not having enough money to buy the flight ticket to Hawaii. So she decided to go to the music festival in her country. And it's like the rock jazz festival. And she was, instead of her going to Hawaii, she wears the Hawaiian costume and like just enjoy the mood at the festival.
Yeah, and there happened to be some technical difficulties for our group, so that we didn't really successfully create different kinds of products, but we worked together to improve the advertisement image for this product. So in this one, we are actually trying to advertise the sale and also the fruit drink, right? If that's correct.
The festival.
The festival, okay. I'm sorry because I joined. I spent the first 20 minutes figuring out how to pay for for Midjourney. Yeah, but yeah, for this image, we actually spent a lot on the details to kind of like show the happiness and the smell and the sunny days to advertise for the whole event. And do you have any? Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's the advertisement for the festival. Yeah.
So it's like, I guess this sort of highlights the sort of chaotic nature of what we talked about. Start product. That would be product. That's, yeah. Is she online?
Yeah. I know Sanji. So that's Sanji. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they're. So I'll let you guys just click or what you.
No. Okay, no, I can present it. Okay. Okay, so we needed to create a product for a persona who was a 40-year-old man who likes minimalistic design, but at the same time that is innovative, unusual creativity, and wood textures and artwork from Franz Klein, and who was someone who has already purchased a Tesla Model 3, AirPods, a Banana Republic outfit, and who might be interested in buying soccer shoes or AirPods or any product that can be related to iPhone, like an iPhone case. So keeping all these in mind, the first product that we came up with is this soccer cleats that are from Adidas, which was already a brand that the person had made a previous purchase on. This is a design inspired by artwork from Franz Klein. And using Midjourney, this is the product that we came up with, and we think it was pretty cool, pretty artistic, pretty innovative. We generally believe it could be something that might be interested for our persona.
So we decided to maybe work with like a headphone as well, for a headphone with a woody texture. This more simplistic, more minimalistic. It doesn't have to do it. It's not screaming at you. It's low key, and we thought it will be a good way of complementing its iPhone or music tastes.
Chris is also very exploring. So we created a wall lamp. It's animated, so he can always change any background. He could watch the ocean, see the waves move, see the rain in the forest. Thank you. And he also likes wooden style, so the frame is made by wood. And it's minimalistic, kind of.
So we also came up with this suit. We know that Chris is really into art, and we're thinking something that would be more used on a daily basis, because obviously we're in the city. So we want something that kind of doesn't shout too much, but kind of just incorporates what he loves. So that's what really led to this idea. And also with sort of the wooden texture, we kind of included sort of a woodish frame in the back and with some art as well.
Nice, beautiful, not too crazy.
this next product is most it's innovative because I can really see where this practice. So which just overall set. That's great. With just like simple so I was that survive. Chris.
So for the next, let's 10 months. Yes.
When you go up and do the pump.
Maybe you need some copy to get the message across. Just how the working purposes inside. So there's a little bit of work. See that.
All right. So that's it for today, guys. Tomorrow, we have a very special guest coming in to visit us from Microsoft, and we're going to really break it down. And after. All right. So thanks, everyone, for joining today. If you get here early tomorrow for York, it would be great. He comes at 9:15, but if we could all get here by like 9, I think it would be helpful. Maybe we could go into some questions and answers, break down some issues that we might have, and we'll go from there. Everybody have a great day. Thank you so much. Great job. Thanks, Chris. Let's give Chris Gardner a round of applause too. All the way from California for us, guys.